You're looking for a great Ethereum strategy. We're going to be covering the Ethereum MACD Super Bounce strategy. We're going to be using two specific indicators, the MACD and the MF5. We're going to go ahead. Let's get started. I'm going to show you exactly the rules of the strategy and maybe something you could apply to it today, as Ethereum is just doing really well at the time of recording this video. So let's go ahead. Let's dive in. Let's get started. So the first I want to do is I want to talk about the MACD, right? So the MACD is going to be one of the indicators you use with the strategy. So what is it? So the MACD is one of the most common indicators used by traders around the world, and it works a variety of different markets. And it's used to spot trades at oversold, overbought levels. So this is the MACD indicator. So you can see this at the bottom of the chart. I'll put this out here. This is the MACD. If you're not familiar with it, you should get familiar with it. It's a great tool. And this is a tool that's really available on any single trading platform. So, if you're using TradingView, if you're using Thinkorswim, Webull, Robinhood, it's going to be on all these different platforms. MetaTrader, you'll be able to see it everywhere. So this is a great indicator. So we're going to use that in this strategy. Then the other indicator we're going to use is the MFI. And it's based on price action and incorporates volume in its calculations, which is quite similar to other oscillators. So in other words, we can use the MFI indicator to measure the buying and selling pressure. Very simple terms. So we can use the MFI indicator to trigger entries and to take profit. So I'm going to show you that in this strategy exactly how that's going to work. So here's the two indicators combined on the chart. So this will be your, so up here, obviously here's your chart up here, and then these will be the oscillators. So here's the MACD, right? Here's the MACD, and then here's the MFI. So you'll see different readings. You'll see, at the top, at the bottom. So we're going to actually, we have a strategy. We have a really great strategy on exactly how to use these two with Ethereum. So the easiest way to interpret the MFI indicator is that if it's a reading above 50, so there's a 50 median line, represent inflow of money into the cryptocurrency. So whatever it is, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Chainlink, whatever it is, a reading below the 50 level represents an outflow of funds from the cryptocurrency. So let's actually go ahead and check that out. So here is the 50 reading right there. So if you can see that, this is the median line. This is the median line right here. So if it's above it, you're going to be seeing a big inflow, and that's going to be, and on the contrary, below, so you see that right here at 50, it goes down. So right there. So in simple terms, it's really, it's almost like an RSI, if you will, but it's its own unique indicator. There's a lot to it, and it's a really great tool. But that is the MFI. So the other critical MFI thresholds are 80 and 20. Yeah, so that's going to be big time levels. MFI reading of 20 is considered bullish. So that's considered bullish. Remember that. And oversold. So it's going to be oversold all the way down there at the 20s. And the reading above the 80 level is considered a bearish or overbought. Again, similar to RSI. So overbought right here. You can see it all the way down here. You can see that it is overbought, and you can see that put the indication with just these levels right here. So these candles, it's overbought, it's overbought, it's overbought. And actually didn't even really go all the straight down after that. And then right here, oversold. So this is actually, I think this is a 5-minute chart, so it's a very small time frame here. But we're going to get into this strategy here. So I just want to I just wanted to talk, about those tools, just because these are the two tools that we'll be using for the strategy. So the MFI measures the market sentiment, giving you signs. And these signs are whether cryptocurrencies are sold, overbought, and what degree. And so using the indicator is probably the most useful measurement of sentiment available. So it's one of the most useful. It really is. It's a great tool. And let's now take one step forward and see how you can make money applying this to the charts. And so let's go ahead. So let's dive in. Here's step one. Get ready. So step one, wait until the money flow indicator drops below 20. Very simple, right? Got to be below 20. The first rule is that you always want to wait for the money flow indicator to be oversold territory. That's right there at the 20. Extreme MFI reading below 20 suggests that there is a very heavy money outflow from Ethereum. So it's coming out. Its history has repeatedly shown this information can be used as a contrarian indicator. So there we go, right there. See that right there? That is all that right here in the 20 range. So that is extreme oversold. When it's down here, those are extreme oversold levels. So the MFI indicator is not a standalone indicator. You don't just want to use this by itself. If it goes below 20 and you buy every time, I mean, it could be a great, maybe a buy and hold strategy, which is a strategy for a later date with specific time frames, specific, criteria with that. This particular strategy, you don't just want to do it by itself. So in order to use the MFI indicator, we need to check it against other technical indicators. And so there's a reason why we're also using the MACD. So number 2. So we got number 1, the MFI is below 20. Number 2, wait for the MACD histogram to break above the 0 level. So I'm gonna show you that. The second rule is to wait for the MACD histogram to turn positive. This is a confirmation that the bullish momentum is starting to build up. Now we have 2 rules in place, but these are still not enough to trigger an entry. So we got the MFI right here, and then we got the MACD positive right there. So those are 2 good things. And by the way, this is exactly what we're talking about right here. That's what you want to wait for, and then this is what you want to wait for. So they're not at the same place. So, what do we do? How do we do these entries? Well, we're going to cover that. So those are the 2 things you'll be looking for. Right here, the positive reading, and then right there below the 20. All right, so pretty simple. Still pretty simple. Indicator-based strategies are very unpredictable. This is the reason why we've added another confirmation signal before we enter and buy Ethereum. Now, we're going to lay down a straightforward entry technique for Ethereum. And then we're going to, so check this out. So, but before we do that, let's go ahead and go to step number 3, which is after MACD turned positive, buy after MFI also breaks above the 50. So remember that 50 level. Now we're going to be using that to make our entry criteria. As an extra measure of caution, we also like to wait for the MFI indicator to break above the 50 level. Reading above the 50 level represents an inflow of money. So basically the outflow came, right? We're going to see the outflow come all the way down. And so our reading will be all the way below 20. And then we want to see it come back up. But then this will be basically our 50. So this is our 50. That is our 50 level. And then that's where we want to actually buy, right? And so I'm going to show you that on the chart, but I just want to kind of get you a visual of that before we continue to move forward. And so again, right here, here's the chart. Here's the chart right here. So this was below 20. So step number 1, right? So just don't even think that this was even in existence. If I could block this on the chart, I could right now. I probably could. But this is your first indication right here, right? Below 20. So say we're right here on the chart. Probably this candle right there. That's your first indication. So you can even have alerts set up for this, right? You can even have alerts set up on TradingView or whatever else. And I could probably even code this very quickly into a strategy. So if you guys are interested in that, maybe hit me up because I probably could do that. But for this example's sake, below 20, right there. So now you got to wait for what you got to wait for. You got to wait for the MACD to turn positive, which is right here. So now we got the positive. Next thing you got to do is you got to wait for the go above 50, which is right here. So now we got all 3. Now you can go ahead and just buy. So here's the buy right here. So number 1, below 20. Number 2, MACD positive. Number 3, wait for the MFI to come back up into the 50 range and go ahead and now you can place it. You might be asking what time frame. You can use this on 15-minute time frame. You can probably even do it all the way up to the daily. It's gonna be a while, especially if you're gonna be trying to buy and Ethereum is where it's at today, which is near and around all-time highs. It's gonna be hard to find the MFI below 20, but when it does go down back, it's gonna go back down eventually. and that'd be a great way to do it on the daily. But I recommend this on the to get started, just to be able to get enough trades, 15-minute time frame. So the next important thing we need to establish is where to place our protective stop. So after placing protective stop loss below the previous swing low, so in order to minimize our potential loss, we want to place our protective stop loss very close to the market price. At the same time, at a price where it should really invalidate our trade signal. So for Ethereum strategy, the ideal place to hide the stop loss is just below the previous swing low. So it's going to be a swing low, swing highs, and we have some great videos on finding swing low, swing highs, but that is where you would place it. So you can always add a buffer to protect yourself in the case of false breakouts. I'm going to show you this. So here would be so swing low is right here. So essentially just think about it in terms of like the lowest price, right, recently. So that's the swing low. There's more to it than that, but let's just use that for example, right? You're going to be placing it below that because if it does come back up here, then it comes right back down. There is a chance that this could just continue to go down and down and down, right? Because we've all seen it before. That's why stop losses are important. Remember those stop losses, especially when you're trading crypto. Unless if you're trying to day trade crypto, unless if you're just a buy and hold trader, then in that case, go for it. The next logical trade, or the next logical thing we need to establish for this strategy is where to take your profit. So step number 5. So we just covered 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're on 5, and now we are on the take profit target. And so that was important. I skipped over that overbought territory, which is going to be above the 80 level on the MFI. So when it comes to this profit taking strategy, we want to cash some profits at the first sign that the market is about to turn against us. Otherwise, we'll risk giving all of those gains back. So the first indication is that the market's about to turn when the money flow index enters into a overbought territory. That's essentially over 80. So you see that right here. You see that right there, guys? That is a overbought territory. So, and you can even see this right here. So this was actually a nice move. So this was the buy entry right here. And then it actually came up, went sideways, came back up again. A very strong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. That's about what, an hour, a little over an hour. And then it became overbought. So now we're at overbought territory. There's a lot of the times, especially with Ethereum, you're not going to see this continue. These candles like this, you're not going to see this. You're going to see that sideways. You're going to see that sideways, right? And so that is where we got an overbought territory right there. Go ahead, grab your take profit right there. This was a great trade. This was nice. And this was actually back when it was all the way in the 600s. So this is actually when this screenshot was taken. Now it's quite a bit higher than that. Same rules still apply, though. Same great rules still apply. So that is a buy example. This is a buy example, right? But you can actually use a sell. You can actually do this if you're a seller. If you want to sell against crypto, if you want to go, get it to go down, you do the same thing. Swing high. There's your stop loss. MACD needs to go negative. So you can see that right there. That's the MACD negative. You need to have the MFI over 80, which would be that's your first step, right? So step number 1, MFI over 80. This obviously is going to be over 80 for a sell. Then you're going to want to wait for the MACD to go negative. So right there. And then remember, MFI. This actually happened pretty close to the same time. MFI below 50. Take the trade. Boom. There's the sell. Wait for it to come back down. If it doesn't hit our stop loss, which it never did, exit at the oversold level of 20. And that is a great way to do it. That's the sell example. I showed you a buy example. Go ahead now. You should just run right over to a live chart. Check this out. See if there's any great recent examples of this. I just wanted to make this video as quick as possible. So I just wanted to show you our examples right here. But this is a great way to trade it. And I can't help but note that if you want to be trading Ethereum, how I'm trading it currently right now on a daily basis is I'm using a thing called my support and resistance pro scanner. Essentially what it is, it's going to be a scanner that just watches crypto. Actually, I actually watches more than crypto. It actually watches stock. So this is the scanner right here. And I actually have, we actually just hit our take profit recently. So this right here, so this was an example. So we're actually, those screenshots were in the 600, we're now 4,700. We actually just hit an Ethereum trade. This was a really great buy trade opportunity. So now this scanner is not the strategy that I just shared with you, that I just showed you. This scanner actually, what it does, it's very well. It's not exactly similar, but what it does is it'll find support and resistance levels, and it's going to be taking trades based on the break of those. So, for example, this was the trade right here, Ethereum buy. There was a breakout on the chart. There's a breakout buy opportunity. So we got the entry, the stop loss, take profit. Exactly what I just showed you on the strategy. Make sure you have those three elements. You always want to have a stop loss in place just in case if things kind of go crazy. So yeah, so here is so here was the actual trades right here. So this was it. Ethereum, ETH, buy signal, breakout right there on this big time breakout opportunity. So again, this is how I'm trading crypto with breakouts and bounces. So this was the entry. So 4406, stop loss 383878, and then take profit is all the way up here. So we actually, this was a big time move, big time strong move. It just continued to go up, went a little bit sideways, and then we eventually right here on this candle right there, we were able to grab the profit, to take profit targets right there. So again, if you're interested in this scanner, this is the way I'm trading Ethereum right now. Go ahead and check it out in the description, the link in the description below. And if that is something that you would like to see and trade on a daily basis with me. Other than that, hopefully you guys enjoy the strategy, and let me know if you have any other questions. Thanks.